Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. First of all, let's take a breath because I need a breath. Your girl has been moving since this morning. Welcome. Come on in. Say hello. Let me know where you're joining me from. And before we get started today on the Lead Like a CEO show, which I'm going to be sharing 3 things when it comes to keeping your employees with you longer than 90 days. Why you need to make sure that you are doing these 3 things as a business owner. So stay tuned. But before we get started, come on in. Welcome to the Lead Like a CEO show. I'm your host, Shevvy. I want you to drop in the chat what you are celebrating today. Okay, let's celebrate. Let me know what you are celebrating today. Drop it in the chat. But come on in, y'all. Like I said, I have been going all morning. I went to a conference, which I'll be sharing about later on. Had a call with someone as well for just kind of making sure that my business is set up for opportunities in the government space. And now I am here. But welcome, everyone. I am Shevvy Mack, your host for Lead Like a CEO show. I'm a retired Air Force veteran after 22 plus years of serving the United States Air Force. And my company, Mac Leadership Academy, is really focused on the development of people. So when it comes to developing your people, increasing their job satisfaction, performance, and retention, come to us. This is what we do. And I am passionate about supporting mission-driven organization, whether you're in the home care space, whether you're in the education space. So if you are that mission-driven CEO, mission-driven, business owner, mission-driven organization leader, then this is the place to be. And today we're sharing how you can keep your employees past the 90s. And the reason I'm bringing this topic to the conversation is for all of us as business owners, as organizational leaders, to look at internally when it comes to our employees, team members, depending on what term you want to, I like to use team members. Look at, hopefully you're tracking and keeping the data of, okay, how soon before I onboard this person, is this person leaving my company, they're leaving my organization? Because it is costing you thousands of dollars. Okay. So there's different reasons why people decide to leave from an organization. They decide, to leave from working with you or your business, whatever the case can be. And also I'm going to be sharing some insight based on my experience as a military member and transitioning from different bases and so forth, and the experience that I receive and what I felt about that organization as I arrived, which impacts whether or not you feel like, hey, this will be a great place to work, or a great culture, or like, yeah, I'm out of here within 90 days. Okay. So come on in. As y'all coming in, say hello, drop a hi in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Also, let me know that you can hear me. I want to make sure that you can hear me correctly. So I want to share 3 things that is needed that you as the leader, you as a business owner should ensure that as individual come into your business, come into your organization, that these 3 things you are applying. Because I went to Google, Google is our best friend, and I Google retention for employees. And according to Forbes.com, they stated that 30% of new employees leave within 90 days. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for joining. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so welcome. Let me know what you're celebrating today as well, Jennifer. Yeah, so according to Forbes.com, 30% of new employees leave that job that they wanted to work, that company they wanted to work for, they apply for, they spend the time and the energy, went through the interview, the whole process to decide after they get into that organization or into that business to transition within 90 days. Okay. If that is happening for you within your organization, you see there's like a revolving door where people are coming in and they are leaving. Maybe they're not leaving 90 days, maybe they're leaving 60 days, maybe they're leaving within a year. Then you have to peel back the onions and figure out, okay, what is truly going on? Why do we have people coming in? They're taking their time, they're applying, but then within 90 days, they are transitioning out. And the first thing I want to say is there might be a problem with your onboarding process. Yes. Onboarding process. That's number one. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. She said, just grateful to be out of the way of the hurricane. Yes, praying for those that aren't. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let's make sure that we are keeping those individuals who are in the midst of the hurricane in our prayers. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Yeah, so when it comes to looking at your onboarding process, and the reason that you want to look at your onboarding process, because I trust me, I get it. When it comes to hiring, sometimes we need that person to be in that position like yesterday. But as an organization, as a business owner, we don't want to just throw someone into the position without giving them the proper process of making sure that this individual feel welcome, they feel connected from the first interaction. Because when we're trying to bring someone into the organization, we bring them into the business, guess what? It's like a relationship. We're nice, we're cordial, we're making sure that each person have what they need. We're going through the questioning process. And then when we get into that relationship, then we get to see the true person. We get to see how that individual truly is, and vice versa. So the company gets to see the employee of, who they are, and then that individual get to see how the company operates, how the company is run, how the leader is actually leading within the business or within the organization. So you have to look at, is your onboarding process at a place where it is meeting all the needs of not only the company, but the new team members? I'm going to share with you. So when I first joined the military and I was assigned to my first duty station, Minot, North Dakota. And again, I'm from Jersey, well, originally from South America, but I call Jersey home. And, Jersey, New Jersey, joined the military in Texas. And then my recruiter said, hey, you're going to North Dakota. I'm like, North Dakota? Like, where's that? Because again, I never heard about, like North Dakota, like, hey, like, like Minot. He's like, Minot. I was like, where's Minot? He's like, North Dakota. So again, I'm 19. I was 20 at the time. And as I got, traveling to my first military base, again, first impression, before I got there, I got a sponsor. I got a sponsor who connected with me, who was in communication, tracking my arrival day and time. So again, that was nice. Are you doing something like that for your employees? After hiring, what is the process for them? Is it just like, hey, show up this day and start work? Or is it like, do they have a sponsor or someone assigned to them? So I had a sponsor. My sponsor knew exactly when I was arriving, the day I was arriving, which was great because again, I am new to this state, North Dakota. And what I was told, it is cold. And yes, it is very cold in North Dakota. Okay. And I ended up there twice. Okay. And I got off the plane and my sponsor, it was after midnight, y'all. It was after midnight. And, she was trying to show me the area. And I'm like, in my head at 20, like, girl, it is dark out here. I can't see anything. And this sponsor, I can tell, like, she didn't really want to be a sponsor. And I learned that she was actually transitioning out of the military. So she passed me on to another individual who became kind of like my sponsor without officially being my sponsor. But this second person took the time, showed care. She welcomed me into her home. Like, she literally brought me into her dorm room like it was like a studio apartment on base. She took me shopping to make sure I had what I needed. She took me to make sure that I have, I was checked into lodging, checked out of lodging and into my dorm room. Like, she really went that extra miles the extra miles to make sure that I was set up and I felt welcome at this new base, which can be it can feel isolated to a certain degree, especially a brand new young person arriving. So if you have individuals who may not be experienced in your organization, and this might be, hey, they first opportunity to truly work for a big company or with your company, and you kind of drop the ball in onboarding them. Now that leaves an impression on that person, because I know for me, I still look back at Embalia, who brought me in and brought me into her group of friends, where I didn't feel like I was just, oh, I'm at this new base, new job, and I don't know anyone. But just that feeling of, like, again, a sense of belonging. So as a new person, if who is onboarding within your business or organization, you have to make sure, okay, what is our process for onboarding our folks to make sure that they feel welcome, they feel like we value them from day one, not just during the hiring process, but from the first connection, the interviews, and the hiring, to fully onboarding them, to making sure that they have what they need. So looking at your onboarding process really will tell you, okay, how can we make sure that we do it right, not only for the company, but also for this new member that we are bringing onto our team? So that's number one. This is one of the first things that you want to make sure that you're doing, to make sure that you kind of help that person to stay beyond the 90 days of working with you. The second thing is clear career progression. So again, within 90 days, does your team member know exactly what is their progression while they are working at your company? What is their plan to say, hey, in the next 90 days, this is where we see you? What does their training plan or career plan, what does that look like? Have you sat down with them? Or if not you, whoever that person is for your organization, maybe that's your training manager, maybe that's someone that is their responsibility is, hey, onboarding, but also planning as well too. Like, who is that person within your team, within your organization, to make sure that every new employee has a proper career plan progression, so that person can see, okay, I'm here for 90 days, but I want to see myself beyond the 90 days. What does that look like for them? Because too often individuals will just on board and then say, hey, you got your computer access, you got this access, all right, you're good to go. No, that is not the case. Oh, yes. Okay. Jennifer said it makes a huge difference. As a 3-level, my sponsor dropped me off in Germany at lodging, and I didn't hear from her for 3 days. A friend from Basic was there, thankfully. Yes, like Jennifer, we can probably share stories on top of stories, Jennifer. It's hit or miss, but that should not be the case. Like, we should have individuals or a process and structure within our businesses and organization that provides that smooth transition. Because when we are ready to hire and find that person, guess what? We are hungry. We're going out. We're doing all the things to recruit the best of the best. So why not make sure, as the leader, as the CEO, that you are, or someone within on your team, is taking that same hungriness and apply it to making sure that that person stayed beyond the 90 days. So 1, how are we onboarding those individuals? 2, what career plan do we have in place to make sure that each member knows exactly their path as they continue to progress past the 90 days? Okay. And I just want to talk very quickly about onboarding. So when I was stationed in Europe, I was traveling with 2 kids. I have 3 kids now, 2 kids at the time. And again, I was coming from Minot, North Dakota to the UK with 2 young kids, and I'm traveling by myself at this time. My sponsor, before I got there, when I say like this was one of the best sponsors, like couple that I had in my entire career, this individual and his spouse made sure we were good to go in the sense of communication. When we arrived at the airport, he drove and picked us up. Like we didn't have to hop on a bus and drive 2+ hours to the base. He came, drove 2+ hours, dropped us off, took me around because again, I don't have a vehicle to make sure I got my cell phone set up because I'm in a new country. Like they went above and beyond as I arrived to that base. And then when I got to my hotel, guess what? A refrigerator stocked with food, little gifts for my kids, a welcome note from the commander. That was like, I like this culture. I like this organization. Going back to what impression are you giving to your new employees? How are they feeling as they are excited to work for your organization, work for your business? Because we know after we get into an organization or a position or a job and we feel like, okay, I don't feel like I'm really being utilized here. We start disconnecting, which leads me into job satisfaction. When it comes to your employees, your team members, staying beyond the 90 days, job satisfaction is at the top. And I know people will say, well, Shevvy, it's about the money. For some, yes, you will give them, extra bonuses and they'll continue to work. But what is the quality of that work? Because I believe when you are not satisfied in your role, it's like a relationship. If you're not happy in that relationship, what happens? You start questioning, why am I here? Why am I accepting the bull crap? I'm not being valued. Same thing with your job. Same thing your employees, your team members are thinking. They are saying to maybe other individuals. And now they're looking for other opportunities because they are not satisfied. When I first got to PACE, which was another opportunity for me to, facilitate, coach, travel to teach all those things. When I first got to this position before I retired, we did an assessment and my assessment came back as very like job satisfaction was low. And at first I'm like, didn't think anything of it, but looking back and my chief came in, he had a conversation. He's like, hey, we noticed that this was low. And for me, I was so used to executing, doing things, going here, going there. Like, because again, my previous job, we were high tempo. And now I'm in this position where it's like more like, oh, we're going to do X, Y, Z, but we have time to breathe. So I had to adjust to that. But when I got into my groove and I started doing more things, I'm like, okay, loved the job. So if your team members are not satisfied, guess what? Within 90 days of being in your business, working for you, they're going to transition. So what are you doing or what do you have in place currently right now to make sure that the people that you are spending thousands of dollars to recruit stays in your organization, in your business beyond the 90 days? So another thing that I found on Forbes.com, and they gave an example, and this was also came from through Forbes, but also through Benefit News. And they gave an example because they said that it costs 30% of an employee's salary to replace that individual. So for example, if you have someone who has been working for you and is within 90 days and you're paying them, let's say a manager, and they're getting paid $55K for the year, just average. Again, this is just a number I'm just throwing out as an example. And if we take that 55K times, 0.33%, you're spending about 18, actually over 18K to bring someone else in to replace that person. So think about the amount of money that you already invested as a business owner to put the ad out, to market the job, time interviewing, time, going through the process, hiring the person, onboarding the person, and then they leave within 90 days. And how many times is that happening for you? So going back to how are you keeping your employees past 90 days? You got to make sure, hey, how is our onboarding process? What image, what perception are we giving them from day one? And not just during the hiring process, but the onboarding process as well too, because that makes a big difference of whether or not, because now in my mental frame, I'm looking at, okay, you got me here. Now I'm here. It's like, figure it out. And it happens. So as an CEO, small business owner, mission-driven business owner, as a organization leader who is leading folks, and you're like, I cannot catch my breath because so much is going on. People are leaving. You're looking to hire, all the things. Really look internally. What is your onboarding process? What career plan do we have in place? Even during the onboarding process, that is something that should be done. Say, hey, for the next 90 days, this is the path that we have for you. But also in those 90 days, well, when you're sitting down with that person, hey, this is our path that we have for you. But what are your thoughts? Where would you like to see yourself in the next 90 days? And then you look at, okay, how can we make sure that it makes sense not only for the company, but also for the employee, which also by having both of those, it impacts their job satisfaction. Because they're not only just showing up to do a job for the organization, but they're showing up to do a job for the organization, but also they know they have a path that's not only going to support the organization, but also support them when it comes to their professional development and their personal lives as well too. So let me know if you're still here with me. Drop a 1 in the chat. Let me know if you're still here. Yeah, so if you are, drop a 1. If not, it's okay. I get it. We're busy, but definitely today was just all about sharing with you as a small business owner, especially a small business owner. You don't have the capital to continuing to hire and hire because people are leaving. So you want to make sure that you have the things in place now, so that when people do come into your business, you have a really effective and efficient way of making sure that they are with you longer. And I get it. People will leave because they want to leave for different reasons, but you want to make sure that you as the leader, as a CEO, are providing that space, that opportunity for that member, that individual to come into your organization and deliver the value that you are hiring them to do, but also they feel like they're what you hire them to do is being valued. They're utilizing their skills and they have job satisfaction and they can see themselves beyond the 90 days. Okay. So I have a workshop coming up that really focuses on building and developing your team. I will be sharing more about this. This workshop will be this month, and I will pick a date. I think is more likely will be the 20 something, but let me know if there's like a specific time. I'm looking at doing it either during lunch, Central Time, or I might do it in the evening. So let me know if you prefer to have it more in the evening, like around 6 p.m. Eastern Time, or maybe like a 12 to 1 Eastern time frame. So let me know. You can just drop in the chat. I will love some feedback. But yeah, so today was all about how to keep your employees past the 90 days. And just to summarize, a efficient onboarding process, clear career progression that not only benefits the organization or the business, but the employee as well, and making sure that job satisfaction is at the top, not only for the person to work, but also, okay, are we meeting the needs of this person while they're working for us as well too? All right, y'all. Well, I'm Shevvy. Thank you for joining me on the Lead Like a CEO show. Don't forget, I have a workshop coming up this month. I will share more about that in a different post. If there are any questions, let me know. Drop it. You can just drop it here in the comments, or you can just send me a DM if you want to send me a private message. But have an amazing day, and I will see you all next Wednesday.